Mi gente, you already know who it is. It's Danny Limelight. And I need all of you to subscribe to According to Woods podcast on Facebook, YouTube, and all other platforms.
What's good, party people? This is According to Woods, and I have the honor and privilege of talking to an MMA fighter hailing from the fighting island of Puerto Rico. He is a Combate Americas veteran, a Max XC veteran. He's the one and only Jonathan Sepulveda. Jonathan, what's going on, my man?
Good evening, Mr. Woods. Everything's doing pretty good. How are you doing?
I'm doing great. And
the honor is mine to be here.
Dude, you are fantastic. I mean, obviously, there's crazy stuff happening all over, but it looks like you and Puerto Rico are standing strong.
Yes, sir. Always strong, always going forward. We're going to reach our dreams. I'm sure of that. We're not going to stop until we accomplish every dream we're working for, and we're working hard. So we better get there soon.
Dang right. Now, obviously, because and it's funny, I didn't even realize, but like Danny Limelight, who's a professional wrestler of Puerto Rican descent, he was in the intro, and I was like, oh, that's
pretty cool.
Now, obviously, Puerto Rico isn't, I mean, it's a fighting culture, right? I mean, the Caribbean islands all over, the Caribbean. My mother's side of the family happen to be from Fiji, right? So I'm first generation from Fiji, so I know what the island culture does. But in terms of the representation in MMA, it's still rising, right?
It is. Right now, I represent the flyweight division here in Puerto Rico. I'm the Max FC champ. The Max FC is a local venue or company that does events. They've been out of the game for a while now. They haven't done any events, and we don't really have any matchups here in the island. We haven't had much activity lately, so we're struggling a little in that part, but trying to get fights somewhere else, and that's that right now.
I love it. But obviously, there are easier ways to make a living than professional.
Definitely,
right?
Definitely. I mean, I know how to work a lot of things. One of my last jobs was waiting at a restaurant, and I've done construction work. I know a little electricity. I know a little bit of all, and I know how to hustle and find money, work for it, obviously. But in this sport, it's not the easiest way. But for me, it's not really looking for money. It's looking for honor and respect, and really to accomplish my dreams. One of my biggest goals, we want to get that Puerto Rican flag represented by someone, internationally. I know we've had other people before, and we will continue to have, but I'm working my way up there to be one of them.
I love it. But, and that's the thing, to be the best in whatever it is you do. My mom always said, it doesn't matter if you're, a garbage man, like
I was told the same exactly with the garbage man. An uncle of mine told me once, it doesn't matter if you're going to pick up trash, if you're going to sweep the streets, you got to be the best at what you do. And that's stuck in my mind, and I'm working with that goal in my mind, with that vision. I got to be the best in my weight class. I want to do some awesome stuff, which I'm working for, and I know we're going to accomplish sometime soon.
I love it. I love that you got the same advice from your family members, because
it's funny when you said the garbage man. I mean, exactly the same, bro.
It must be an island thing, right?
Well, actually, the one that told me doesn't live here. I think he was here in Puerto Rico when he did tell me. He was here for vacation quite a few years back. But he doesn't live here, but he did tell me, and I do remember his words. And it doesn't matter what you do, but try to be the best at it and do it. Everything I do, I love what I do. I try and put in some love to everything I do, to my job, if I do a work at a house for anything I do, I try and do it. I try to do my best, and I try and enjoy it, because that's really the main purpose of it.
I absolutely love it. I absolutely love it. Now, Javier Rodriguez Mercado, you're gonna have to help me translate that, bud.
All right, let me see if I. All right, he's saying that Orgullo Boricua. Saludos, Javier. That's like the I guess I represent them and they're proud of me. So that's a friend of mine. I guess he's watching it. So
And shout out to you, Javier. Thank you for watching us here. But it's kind of cool, especially as somebody that represents the Puerto Rican culture, to kind of get that love back. A lot of people I know on both sides of the family, my American African descendant of slave side for my dad's side, as well as my mom's side, the Fijian side, we never say. I mean, I don't want to say we don't say anything nice, but usually when we all get together, it's usually when somebody passes away, right? So it's nice
yes,
to know,
yes.
right? So it's nice to know that you're getting that support, right
Man,
here, right
people
now.
here, I know they're full of love is one, but when you're in the fighting game, I mean, that pumps everyone up. Puerto Ricans, we love the fight. We love the fight. Every time a fight comes up, I have so many people coming up to me to talk about it, and they're proud that we represent. I don't do this for myself. I don't see myself fighting somewhere else. I see the whole island. I see our flag. I try and represent Puerto Rico.
I absolutely love it. And Don McGuire of the Fighter's Voice, shout out to Don McGuire and the Fighter's Voice. He says, you fought Hector Velez twice, didn't you?
I fought who? I'm sorry.
Hector Velez?
I fought him 3 times, man. That was when I started my career. Like I say, we don't have the sport here in Puerto Rico. It's developed. I mean, we got great fighters, but we don't have a lot of activity. We don't have a lot of people in the ground, the playground, where we could choose a lot. So for various times, I fought like 3 times the same guy. It was funny and controversial, or not funny to him. I guess now I look back at it, and it's kind of funny. But I fought him in the first time. I beat him like in a minute and a half or so. I had caught him with a knee, and the referee stopped the fight because he thought he couldn't take anymore. Right after that, he went to the ground. Right after the knee, he stood up and like, no, I could continue fighting. He was a little upset for it, so that's why he asked for a rematch. So what happened is we did a rematch a couple months after flyweight fight, and it went great. I'm sure it was a close fight. Judges saw me winning unanimous decision. He was a little upset again. So then it was like, it was amazing. He wanted to fight me for a third time. And then I kind of didn't like the idea on one side because the pressure's on me. I mean, I beat this guy once, so why should I fight him? Okay, we could fight a second time. But if we fought twice, why should I fight a third time? I mean, what if he beats me? I mean, I should continue my career. My first 2 fights, I beat him. But you know what? It's all about fighting, and I'm ready for whatever comes. So let's do it. And man, that was a knockout. That was pretty brutal. He was asleep for a little while. I knocked him cold like in 50 seconds. So I'm sure after the third time he didn't want any more of that. But actually, it was him asking for the fight. So you look at it in the record, like why did he fight him 3 times? Why? Because I'm telling you why he wanted to fight. He's like, no, I mean, I know I could beat you. I want to fight you, and he wanted to fight, and he's a good opponent and a tough guy, but we were able to handle it in the right way, and we won 3 times. The first one was a technical knockout, second was unanimous decision, and I guess the third one was a technical or knockout or whatever. He was out of it.
Well, I mean, again, that just speaks to the fighting pride and culture, that happens, which I gotta ask, right? Tres tiempos, right? I dusted off the Spanish there. But 3 times
Tres
in a row.
veces,
Thank you,
tres
sir.
veces, tres veces, tres
Right?
veces.
So what did you learn about yourself, right? Especially, fighting the same opponent, right? Because you couldn't rest on the oh, I beat him once, right? Because you beat him 3 different ways. It kind of reminds me of
Exactly. Well,
Bret Hart, right? King of the Ring, I think it was 93 and 94. 3 different opponents had 3 different matches. Right? So
uh-huh.
with that all being said, what did you learn each time that you fought Hector?
Man, I learned that I mean, okay, first of all, each time I have defeated an opponent, I don't think I'm better. I know I was better prepared that night. That this sport is like you got to be prepared for that occasion, and you can't feel bad. I mean, you're a human being, and it has happened where I don't feel the best at my fight day. But anyways, you have to be prepared for a specific night, and never thinking that I'm better than anyone else, just knowing that I'm better prepared. I know that the fight game changes, and each time he had a different plan or a different attack, a different way of fighting. So I learned that each opponent is different and each way of fighting. Even a same person can fight different ways, and you have different options, and you may have to manage the situation in a different way. Like the third time, he was so upset with the two losses he had against me in the beginning. He came, he came to destroy me. He just jumped. He tried to catch me with three punches, and I just was pulling back, and I could see them punches coming so close to my face. Um, Anyways, I got out of that. I caught him with some knees too. He went to the ground. I started pounding on him, and he was off. But I did learn that the fight game is very weird. You have to be prepared for anything. You don't know what to expect. I mean, sometimes you have to be imposing your game on someone, but sometimes you gotta kind of feel him out. And I didn't really have time to feel him out on the third time. He just came aggressive, so automatically I knew what type of fight I have to go for. Not a calm fight. We had to really push the pace a little, but it was enough. We pushed it enough to win the fight for the third time. So I guess I learned that. I mean, it's awesome. I mean, fighting is not easy, obviously, and it's always random, and that's why we fight. We want to know what's gonna happen. I mean, people predict, and I think he's gonna win or he's gonna win because of this or that, but you have to wait to the fight day to see what's really gonna happen, and that's what I like about it. I learned a
Well,
lot.
1,000%. And Don McGuire saying that was righteous, absolutely. And you are Puerto Rican pride.
Thank you, thank you. I am. I try to represent my people. I'm proud of my people. It's not like I don't see it like we're all a team, Puerto Ricans. Every time I get a fight and they encourage me and they give me their support. I mean, I feel so blessed and so happy about it. So I'm honored when people feel that I'm representing them in the right way.
I love it. I love it. But I mean, talk to me about a young Jonathan Sepulveda pre-fight. Like, did you have an athletic background, and what led you to being a mixed martial artist?
All right, a little bit about me. I've always liked sports. I haven't been in a lot of sports. I did play a little baseball, a little basketball. I guess I wasn't that great or I didn't try it enough. Um, when I was at the age of 13, I started doing boxing. I was an orphan at the age of 2. I could tell you more about it, but talking about the sport, I was raised with my grandma and my grandma on one side and my grandparents on the other side, and she didn't like fighting that much. My grandma, with who I lived the most part of the time, she didn't approve it that much. So I always told her she knew I was practicing boxing. I got into boxing around the age of, I think it was 12. And she knew I was boxing. I'd go walk into the gym. It's like I didn't have a parent, my dad, a brother, a neighbor, someone who drove me over. No, I started off on my own. I would walk to the gym or run to the gym or whatever, train at it. It was an old man. Then sometimes he used to bring me back home. So the times I fought, I did get to fight at that young age. And I wouldn't tell my grandma. I'd tell her I was gonna go see some fights, and then I'd come back, maybe not all bruised up, but all exhausted and sweaty. And she knew I had fought. I'm like, yeah, I fought, but you told me you weren't gonna fight. Well, a fight came up, and I had to fight. And that was kind of where I started I started with boxing, but that was kind of my first fighting at the age of 12. I did the boxing from 12 when I was from 12 to 16. Then I quit boxing, and I guess I had age to drive around, and I wasn't really focused on in sports or nothing much at that age. I guess girlfriends and stuff like that, finishing school and all that. Then I started a little late compared with most of the fighters. I started practicing MMA around 23. So I guess I started kind of young, then had a little setback or pause, let's say, and then I went into it a little more.
That's amazing. That's amazing. And I mean, again, you're to him they're showing up because Javier, again, he says when John's, which is your nickname, when Josh goes
Hmm.
up into the octagon, what he does are battles. They are the most anticipated fights.
That's one of the things I always try. I mean, I want people to enjoy. I mean, I'm the fighter. Obviously, I enjoy fighting, but I need my people and everyone, even if they're routing for my opponent, they need to have some action. So when we go up there, it's nothing but fireworks and action, and let's do what we got to do, and let's see who's better and who's better prepared. And it's really, we're not there to feel us out and take some time. No, we're here to fight, bro. So let's put up a show for this people. And actually, I think all my fights have been exciting. I've seen people like breaking chairs and screaming and jumping, and it's gotten pretty wild when I fight. People love it. I mean, I do have a good fan base, a lot of support, and I'm very thankful for it and honored too. So yes, going with his line, I think so. I think my fights are pretty exciting, bro.
I love it. Well, I mean, and I'm kind of getting goosebumps because not only do I do MMA stuff, but I'm also an avid pro wrestling connoisseur, and I've always heard about the WWC, the World Wrestling Council, the
Hmm.
legendary Carlos Colon, and just the battles that would happen in the arenas all throughout Puerto Rico, and when people would come over, from mainland or from Japan or anything, some legendary wrestlers, legendary fighters, they always spoke about a life changing experience whenever they stepped on to Puerto Rican soil.
Yes, man. I mean, I think we all have that pride in us, and Puerto Rico has had good representatives in every sport, I believe, and I'm sure all of them are proud, and the people are more proud of them. So it's like we don't have a lot of. It's a small island, man. It's 100 by 35, and we've produced a lot of good high level athletes in every sport. I know that.
Yeah, exactly. And it permeates literally any sport. You put a Puerto Rican, it could be male, female. You put them in
We do
there, and
have some females in there.
that's it. I've seen some like Puerto Rican or Ricania, right? Volleyball players, and they're just like, I mean, they they win. That's
Yes, I mean we have female boxers. We have Amanda Serrano. We have tennis. We have a whole bunch of athletes. Monica Puig. We have some females, some males, and like you just said, in every sport. I mean, that's good. So we want to get someone in MMA. I mean, we do have good MMA representatives. I don't know if anyone actively fighting right now from here in a
right.
big league. Like I live here. I know a lot of people. They're so-called Puerto Ricans, and I'm proud of them too, representing me as a Puerto Rican. But like Tito Trinidad, he used to be like the guy. Like we call it in Spanish, it's called Jíbaro. It's like he's a country guy. He's a guy. He's very simple. He's very humble. People love him. His attitude. He would talk in an interview. I'm not great at talking, but he wasn't either. I mean, he's like stumble and scream a bad word like yeah, I mean that's very special to us, man.
Yes, which I gotta kind of spin it back because you started out originally as a boxer, right? And I mean, I've always known of Puerto Rican fighters, especially when it comes to boxing. But I mean, where I could really experience it, right, as somebody that understood it, it wasn't like I was a little kid or anything like that. Where I was of an age to understand it, and what Puerto Rican boxing was all about was a gentleman by the name of Felix Trinidad, Tito. You might know that guy,
I, I,
right?
I think he's the best. Yes, to me, I mean, we have a lot. We have Miguel Cotto. We have people before Tito, and we have a couple after him and Miguel Cotto. But I think one of the most pride that has brought to us is Felix Trinidad. Man, he's awesome, and he's still around. He's not boxing, but we see him around, and he's awesome. He's a humble guy. He represents us well, and we're all very proud of him, man. I did start, like you say, as a boxer, and I love boxing. I still love boxing. I just changed my game a little, added a couple more kicks and knees and slams and stuff like that. but we still use boxing, man. We still box in our fight, so we keep there with our roots.
No, absolutely. And in the evolution of self evolution of the game, which I mean, obviously you're training at the Caribbean top team there in Puerto Rico, but you've also expanded your game, right? You've traveled to Jackson Wink in Albuquerque, New Mexico. You've been at Cowboys Ranch, right? Donald Cowboy Cerrone and
Yes, man.
King
We
Talk to me about those experiences. Was it hard to kind of leave home? Because I mean, of course, you want to get the best training that you can, but and you also want to stay at home. But you made a sacrifice to come to mainland to train with some of the best, all around.
Well, there's a couple reasons for it. I mean, one of them, we wanted to have the experience to test our level with people of the highest and best levels of the world, some of the best gyms. We also wanted to test how we would work fighting or training or sparring like we did at high altitude. I mean, at New Mexico, we went to places where it was 10,000 feet over sea level. We train at sea level, like literally, like a couple seconds away from the beach. So, you need to climate, you need to get used to the climate, and it's very challenging. And I mean, we train hard. So when I was in the altitudes, and even though it was challenging and a little more fatiguing, but I did feel the difference, but we were able to manage it. I mean, some days I pulled 5, 6 rounds of sparring, and that's pretty good for when you're not used to. I'm sure being there for a long time, you'd get used to the heights and all that. But moving around, I mean, when we traveled, I went to many different gyms, and most of them were high places. We did go to Jackson Wink, like you said. We did go to BMF, to the Cowboy Ranch. Then we went to Vegas. We visited Extreme Couture. We went to Syndicate MMA. We visited quite a few gyms, man, and it was a little hard leaving home because I do have a daughter with special needs. She's 14 years old and she has Rett syndrome, and she's my life, man. I never want to be far from her. Only like those small periods where I'm reaching and for my dreams and a fight and stuff like that. But I'm always constantly aware of how she's doing and trying to take care of her, even though I'm not here. So that was kind of the challenging part. I love where I live. I love the way it is here, man. It's a tropical island. I mean, we get to go out. It's like it's almost 11 at night here, and I could just walk out without a shirt. Look at how I'm dressed. It's not cold. I mean, I love it here. So I did travel to get all those experiences, to learn some new stuff, to test my level against some high elite level fighters. It went pretty well. We always have space to grow and get better at it. Obviously, this is a never stopping sport. We never stop learning, but we did test, and we're pretty good at a good level where I know we could compete with some of the best fighters in the world. Obviously, in my weight class, most of the people I had the chance to spar with, they weren't my weight class. I mean, even Cowboy, how many pounds does he, overweigh me in? But everyone was awesome, and we had great experiences. We were very thankful for it, and we learned a lot. And I know it was all those trips and all those gyms we went to. It helps us grow as we go.
Now, obviously, coming back with a new, sometimes, and this is what I love about the sport, right? There's not one way to do it, right? Because you could have an extensive, athletic career. You could be a champion wrestler coming up, NCAA background, all of that jazz, or you could be, somebody that has been training at a gym, with a name, and sometimes even without a name, and you raise up through the gym, and do it that way, or you could essentially, much like you did, was go around. They say variety is the spice of life, right? And go around and sample every bit of flavor, from other gyms, and kind of let the essence and the
I
experiences
love
of
cross
different people.
training. You always learn, and especially if it's a different not technique, a different, let's say, a different sport, from wrestling to boxing to, I love cross training with people from my same sport, people from different sports. You always learn, you always add to your game. Like we've talked about, I started as a boxer. I didn't kick very well. I mean, I've won fights with by kicking, and I have a couple submissions on my record, and I have title fights. I have 5 rounders. I have a little bit of all, and that experience by cross training, training with different people, and learning different techniques and different wrestling sports and all that. That's what has helped me to try and be a more complete fighter.
That's amazing. And Nate Wren of Podium Sports says Sepulveda is a one bad man.
There you go, brother. Thank you. We're gonna prove that very soon in a cage near you. We're gonna
Yeah,
prove that.
man, I can't wait. I cannot wait. And Michael Izari says Sepulveda is the best 125er of Puerto Rico.
There you
That's
go.
an
That's
amazing
my
statement.
brother Michael. That's my brother Michael. He fights pretty good at 155. So check him out. He's gonna be taking some names very soon too. We've trained together. Most of our camps have been together. I have so many camps with this guy. I mean, he's my. We call ourselves War Bros. I mean, we've been in it so many times together and training camps together, and I'd do a camp for him if I had to, just to help him out. I know he'd do the same for me. So check him out. He's gonna be making some noise just as I am. So thank you, brother. Thank you for your words.
Hey, Michael, hermano, I'm probably going to be contacting you, uh, sliding into those DMs, good sir, to have you right here on this podcast. So, just so you know, I'm coming for you.
There
Now,
you
also,
go.
you spoke of your daughter, right? And especially in your travels, right? To be away from your daughter who has special needs, right? So, as not just a fighter, not just a Puerto Rican son, right? You're a father, right? Um, Talk to me about what you feel and what you want your daughter to learn from your experiences.
Man, I think instead of me learning, her learning from me, I think I constantly learn from her. Actually, she's my biggest motivation. I've been surrounded my whole life by warriors. I was raised by my grandparents, but tough people, man, tough people. My daughter has Rett syndrome. A lot of people don't know what it is. A lot of people do. It's a pretty severe condition, and she fights with it. It's like a everyday fight. I mean, right now she's probably asleep, hopefully. But she struggles, man. Honestly, her life isn't easy. And it's amazing how after having, let's say, some epilepsy, convulsions or whatever, a little while after she's smiling at you and she's so energetic and she's so happy and she loves the game. I mean, sometimes I put fights on the TV and you see her watching and just, I mean, she won't blink. She loves the game. She knows what I do. She's always been there for me in her special needs. She does understand. We do communicate. She doesn't talk, but we communicate. I understand her feelings and her needs, and she encourages me a lot more than I encourage her. I think I try to be there for her, but she's my biggest motivation. She struggles so much. So I mean, like I say, I've been surrounded obviously by her, by people, my family. They've all been warriors. Maybe not in the fight game, but I lost when I was getting ready for one of my fights. I lost my grandma to cancer. One of the ones that raised me. Halfway through the fight camp, she said she wasn't feeling well. She used to live in at my house, second level, second story. So she used to live on the upstairs. I lived in the downstairs, and I was always checking out for her. She started not feeling that well. She said she wanted to get checked up, and man, that was the start of a bad news. She had cancer. It was all over her body, and so I wasn't gonna do the fight. It was one of my biggest fights. I think every fight is your biggest fight at the time. So at that time, I was getting ready to go fight in Florida. So I was gonna fly out of the island, and she got sick, and I wasn't gonna fight. But then she went to get a second opinion. She flew out to the States, and I didn't have her here with me. So an aunt of mine called me and said, "Listen, Jonathan, you need to get training, do something so you're not thinking about, you have nothing to do, she's not there with you, you're just waiting for answers. So try and get involved in something. I know you love fighting. And then she started crying. She said, you know what, do it for her. And it was pretty emotional, and I got prepared for the fight. So I flew over. Actually, I didn't have much money at that time to fly just to get to see her. I knew she wasn't going to be able to fly back. I mean, she went to get a second opinion, but the same opinion that here, they didn't even want to intervene with her, cut her up or anything. It was just too aggressive and too developed at a stage where there wasn't nothing much to do. So I did want to see her and get to spend some time with her, but I didn't have the money. So I kind of tried to figure it out, where I said, listen, talking to myself, I'm like, listen, if they pay your ticket so you could go fight, you're going to get to see her because you're already there once you're there. And it was a very tough experience because I was training for a fight. She was sick. I talked with her every day, and she was getting worse as the days went by. But thank the Lord, I was able to go win the fight against BJJ black belt at that time. That was 2015. That's about 6 years ago. I won the fight, and when I got there, this is the same grandma that I told you a little while ago that she didn't like when I went boxing. And it was so funny because when I got there and she received me, hugged me, and kissed me, and I spent a few weeks with her there before I had to fly back to my family because my daughter and all that. While I was there, she was so happy, so proud that she would call people on the phone and she would say, my boy, he won the fight. And even though at a certain time or stage of life, she didn't approve of me fighting, or she didn't really like it, but she was very proud of what I was doing. So I was proud of her because she was a tough warrior. She didn't complain. She probably was feeling bad for so long and didn't complain until it was too late. So she's one of the warriors that motivates me still up to the day, even though I don't have her around. And my daughter, and I just recently lost my other grandma. Remember, I was raised by grandparents, so to me, they're my parents. I just recently, a little over 2 months ago, lost my other grandma to cancer also. So, man, like I say, my daughter's my biggest motivation, but I have so many people around me that have fought and have given me an example of what a true warrior, maybe not a fighter in the game, but a fighter of life, what they have to go through and how they manage it. And they've taught me so much how to manage difficult situations. My whole life has been, I was raised by my grandparents. At the age of 2, I lost my parents, and I've struggled a lot. I mean, I didn't have needs. They took good care of me. I had all the love I needed, but there's a lot that goes with the story that I know I've struggled and I keep struggling. And this sport obviously helps me to canalize all those energies and to it's like a stress reliever to me. So my daughter's the biggest one, but I do have a lot of warriors in my family, a lot of people who have set out an example for me. And I just want to keep being an example for others that, we're never giving up. I have dreams, and I'm going to reach them, brother. I'm going to reach them. I'm going to work as hard as I have to work. I've been putting in the work at the gym. I mean, I don't skip a day. Some weeks I put, let's say, pictures on Instagram and all that. Some weeks I don't, but I'm literally every day at the gym. Right now where I'm at, this is a little gym I have at my house. I have a good mat where we could slam one another, where we could do BJJ. I have a little fence here. I have some heavy bags. I have a few equipment, and I'm working hard, brother. So like I said, we're gonna make it. Eventually, we're gonna make it where we want. I want to put the Puerto Rican flag up at the highest level and show them how hard we've worked for this, because we're gonna make it.
I absolutely love it. Oh my gosh, I got choked up there, because I honestly believe, right, the spirit of your father, the spirit of your grandmother, the spirit of your daughter, and she can't speak. That's the part of her diagnosis, right? And you
That's one of
are
the things that hits me hard, man.
yeah, and you're literally the embodiment of all of the experiences, and you are literally as they fight, in different forms of their life, and like your father and your grandmother, right up until the end, they fought so much, and it's almost like you're a virtue that you're literally fighting for everything that you believe in and everything that they taught you, everything that, every bit of love and care and consideration, food in your belly, thoughts in your head. Well, you're parlaying that into, again, something that will not just make your family proud, but the entire country of Puerto Rico proud. And you're going to carry it on your back.
Yes, sir. We're gonna carry that flag and bring pride to everyone we can. I mean, I've had people setting the example for me. It's my time to set the example for others. And I always that I fight. That's my mentality. I mean, I'm gonna go into that cage. I'm not coming out without a fight. I mean, even if I have to crawl out. I mean, I'm gonna give every last breath I have to win that fight. You have that for sure. So I'm here to put wars, and my game has upped a lot in the last few months, man. I've been working very hard in my BJJ, in my striking, my wrestling, in my conditioning. I've been working so hard, and I've been over a year without fighting. So I haven't really proved what I do have now. The Jonathan Sepulveda that everyone knows or knew is a different version right now, and I'm ready to prove it.
I love it. Now, Nate Wren also saying that he's the best thing going for Puerto Rico since Camacho Jr. That's pretty big.
That's awesome, man. I'm honored to hear that. I couldn't really read it, but I'm very honored. Thank you. I appreciate those words. I don't know if I don't see myself big. I've never seen myself big, and I see it like a country, like a island. We're an island. I see it like when I fight or anything, if I win a fight, anything that brings honor is for us, for all of us. I never see myself as an individual. I may be the one representing or the one getting hit if I do get hit. But I'll get hit for my people as many times as I have to, man. We're gonna bring some pride very soon. So thank you for the words.
Absolutely. And that's somebody who knows his sport. I mean, not only is he a writer for Podium Sports, but he actually competed um, in 2020 down in Mexico, taking his um, first boxing match. So he's a writer that
Awesome.
boxes as well.
That
In
knows what he's
addition to being
talking
a
about.
marathon runner, it's crazy. I mean, he's man of many talents.
Awesome, awesome. He has my respect too. So let's keep putting that work in and keep getting fights, brother.
Absolutely. And then Stevie Vega Rivera says Jonathan Sepulveda is the best. Almost like gin, like fine gin.
Man, I wasn't expecting anything of this. I'm honored with all those words, and I appreciate it. Nothing but love for everyone, for Vega. Love you, bro. Love everyone. I'm very proud and honored of you guys talking like that of me, man. I don't see myself as anything special. I mean, I just work hard for what I want, and I have that focus that I'm gonna accomplish it. There's no doubt of that.
Absolutely. And then Carlos Perez says, again, my my Espanol isn't the greatest, so I don't want to butcher it, but go ahead and
Let me
have a
see
crack
if
at
I
it.
could. He's talking about Puerto Rican pride too. Boricua, that word, we use it for ourselves, the Puerto Ricans. It distinguishes us. I think it's an Indian word we used to use at the beginning. It used to be called Puerto Rico, used to be called Borican. So the word comes from there. We're Boricuas, and if he's proud, I mean, thanks again, brother. I mean, that's what we want. We want Puerto Ricans to be happy, and I do know that when I get the fight I'm expecting. I know Puerto Ricans are gonna be there, so any company is gonna have a lot of viewers and a lot of people following because we're getting the support, man. We're getting nothing but love, and I'm thankful for it. Thank you for everyone with the words and all that motivation. That's gas for me, gasoline to keep burning and working hard.
Absolutely. I mean, it's chiming in. Kendall Fernandez says, great fighter from Puerto Rico. Shout out to you, Kendall. Thank you for joining us here.
Thank you,
Uh,
brother. Thank
Jeff
you.
Salamanca says, Sepulveda is you say it.
There.
Yes.
It's awesome, brother. It's awesome. Thank you.
Yes. And then, yeah, Nate, yeah, Sepulveda is going to surprise a lot of people. Don't sleep
That's
on Sepulveda at all.
That's
No
what
sleep.
we're waiting, brother. I think a lot of people don't know. Time's passing. I'm just getting better as time goes. I'm working so hard that the results are gonna prove it, man. When I get my next fight, we're gonna prove how hard we've worked and how eager we are for victory and for representing our people well.
Absolutely. And then Kendall is saying he's bringing a lot of action to this game. Puerto Rico in the house.
Puerto Rico in the house, my brother. Boricua.
Boricua. Now, obviously, you're 9-2 in the flyweight division. So the MMA superfan wants to know, do you think that DJ, Mighty Mouse, or Demetrius Johnson is the flyweight GOAT or greatest of all time?
I've thought that for a while, man. I've thought that for a while. He's great. He's so complete. I love his way of fighting, and he's always improving. And he could fight any. I mean, he could fight in the ground. He could fight on top. That's kind of how I'm trying to be. I have been. I mean, I have knockouts. I have TKOs. I have decision wins. I have title fights. I have submissions. So I'm trying to be. He's a good example for me, but I'd say he's probably the GOAT at the flyweight division. Yeah.
Which, I it's crazy to me. Right? So for me, just my personal stance, I'm almost like the mindset of like Joe Rogan, where like and it's been, I mean, Rogan is probably one of the most notable, but there have been others that have echoed the sentiments of like having a weight division as well as champion in every division every 10 pounds, because again, the as a fighter yourself, from like light heavyweight, 205 and heavyweight, that's a big jump, right? That's huge, right? But Dana White, right? But I guess in his kind of mortal war with Demetrius Johnson when he was champion, he wanted to cut the flyweight division and what have you. Now
I
with
was pissed off. I was pissed off with that. I was pissed
yeah,
off. Sorry to jump in on
let me
you,
know your
but
thoughts.
you know what? You know what? I was gonna go to the Ultimate Fighter flyweight division show. I didn't have much money. I bought one ticket. Matter of fact, a cousin of mine, Vega, he jumped in and he bought me the ticket. So I had one ticket to fly over to be at the tryouts for the Ultimate Fighter a couple years back, and then all of a sudden, I don't know what the reason was, but it was canceled. That season was canceled at the
Right.
time, and one of the people that were Demetrius, he was saying he said a lot of stuff, maybe not positive stuff, and he wasn't. He said I think they wanted him to be a coach, and he was upset with that. I don't know what was happening, but I know he had made a comment that upset me at the time. I think he's like, "Oh, I'm not gonna be teaching these newbies what took me so many years to learn." Like I'm like, "What?" So I can't really recall the words he used or what he said exactly. I know I was a little pissed off. I'm like, "What?" And I know a lot of times the flyweight division has been ready to be cut off. I'm like, no, don't do that. I mean, I'm on my way there. I'm gonna be there soon. So hold your horses. Let me prove myself. Let me show you what we could do. I mean, we could sell pay-per-view. If I mean, I know what I could do. I know flyweight division is a fast division, one full of action. And so many times it's been talked about being cut off, and I don't approve that. I'm happy now that we got good fighters at 125 that are they're putting their face in the game, and they're representing, and they're keeping the flyweight division alive, because I still have a lot of proof, man. You can't cut it off without me.
Yeah, which I before we go, I mean, we're not going anywhere soon, but Nate Wren says Adam Woods and Jonathan Sepulveda are going to be two people that will be shocking the world soon. I really appreciate that, but again, a reason most people are like, you do like
Thank you.
15 podcasts a week and whatever. Well, Nate Wren is probably racing or saving kids. He donated like a bunch of toys during Christmas to underprivileged kids and whatever. So Nate Wren is,
Awesome.
and you too, Jonathan. Like, you're doing a lot. I'm all like, I'm not doing enough because I got be compared to you guys. I'm just saying.
That's awesome, man. That's awesome. It's an honor just to be talking with you. I know I've heard a lot of good things about you, so honor.
Oh, the honors on mine. I again, you don't get to be 9-2, right? Again, I echo
My
your
two
sentiments.
losses, my two losses have been decision. They've been close fights. Split decision. One of them was a split. One of them was a unanimous. I've learned so much from the unanimous loss. It was a still was a great close fight. Then my last fight, I lost it. It was a 5 rounder. I'm not gonna throw in trash in here, but my opponent came in way heavier. The fight wasn't gonna happen. I wanted the fight to happen. I wanted to beat him anyways, even though he had 1 or 2 divisions on me. And I don't know how it was really gonna work because it was supposed to be if he came in so heavy, we're not even supposed to fight for the title, or at least not him if I make weight or whatever. The thing is, we were going for the title, even though we were in the weight classes we were. He was like 2 divisions heavier than me. And you know what? It was a great fight, a 5 rounder. I did a 10-8 round. I'd say everyone's seen it, says that was the 10-8 round where I had him the whole first round in the ground. I put like 20 elbows on his face. I had a crucifix. I pounded on him. I elbowed. I hit him with my punches, with my fist. I hit him so much, and they didn't stop the fight. It's okay. The fight continued. We did 5 great rounds. I just used it as an experience, even though I know we weren't at the same weight class that night of the fight. But yeah, that's how it goes, man. No excuses. We're just here to fight.
But again, you've never been finished, and again, a lot of times you can learn more about yourself and what you're willing to go through for that win when you lose. Because when you win,
Yes.
a lot of times you don't have to reflect as much, right? Because again, you'd be like, oh, that thing that whatever
I
that everyone
won.
was
Let's go
doing.
on with the next. But
Yeah,
when you lose, brother, you're like, why? I mean, I was so upset with myself. I'm like, as soon as the fight got ended, I mean, we were both bruised up, man. We beat the shit out of each other. I mean, we both
yeah,
had bloody nose, bloody mouth. I mean, blood all over, some black marks, and we were all messed up. But I didn't care about that. I'm like, I was so upset. I'm like, how the fuck did you lose that fight? I mean, you had to win. You had to win. I just small adjustments. I mean, you had to finish him in round one. You had him. You were. I mean, all that pressure. That's just motivation to keep growing and learning and improving and fixing maybe details that could have gone better in your favor. So I believe what you said is completely true and completely real. And the losses just give you so much more to work for and to desire. And like you said, I haven't been finished. I do have 2 losses, so I'm hungry, man. I'm hungry. That just makes me more hungry.
no, 1,000%, 1,000%. And again, a lot of people, of course, you know, especially when it comes to boxing, they always say that where the sport is heading in terms of combat sports in what the heavyweights are doing, right? If there is public attention on heavyweights, whether that be in boxing, whether that be in MMA, well, if the sport as a whole will benefit. But here's the thing: the flyweights are some of the like the best, most action-packed fights, both male and female. Right? For Dana White, who wanted to cut just the males division, he now has a female flyweight division, right? And on both
Awesome.
divisions, and anywhere in the world, whether it be one championship, Combate Americas, Bellator, UFC, you're gonna see knockouts. You're gonna see submissions. You're gonna be like,
Speed, brother.
speed
Speed.
kills. And for me, I'm all like, how can one move that fast? It's almost like you blink and you miss it. It's
Yes, that's
crazy.
how it goes. That's how it goes. At this division, we need speed. We all need speed. We're pretty lightweight, small guys compared to the big heavyweights. But yes, not just speed. You see everything that you see a heavyweight fighter doing. You see the technique being executed the correct way. You see everything just in a smaller guy in a faster fight. So you gotta be like you said. If you blink, if you look away, you're losing some good stuff. I mean, this is a fast division, and there's always action-packed fights in the flyweight division.
No, 100%. So I gotta talk to you. There's a guy, right? You carry Puerto Rico on your back, right? But there's somebody, well, in the UFC that may be champion, right? In the flyweight division that carries his region of Brazil on his back as well. One Davidson Figueiredo, right? So what are your thoughts on the current champ in the UFC in the flyweight division?
Man, I watched his last fight with Moreno. They both fought very well. I'm just so eager to be in there just fighting any of them because I know I obviously it's not the same for me to just say I'd love to prove the world, but I'm so ready to be fighting these people, man. They're very talented, they're very complete fighters, but with a good training camp, I'd put some fireworks in with these people too, man. They're awesome fighters. I respect them very much. But this is how the game goes. It's a fighting game, and I would love to fight any of them, brother. I mean, I know I'm ready. I mean, I know I'm ready. I'm not just talking. I'll do the walk, you know. I know what I'm capable of. It's hard to convince people just by talking. I mean, and that's not the way. I have some fists and kicks I would prove it with. I'm just waiting for that chance when the world wants to see some action from a Boricua, from a Puerto Rican fighter, born and grown here. I'm ready, brother. I'm very ready.
I can't wait either. I can't wait either. Which I gotta ask, right? Looking at the current flyweight landscape, and we're not just talking about the UFC. I mean, the world over. Are there any matches that are interest you, Jonathan Sepulveda?
Man, I know that tonight LFA was having the flyweight division championship fight.
Yes.
I was really pumped for that. Wanted to see it. I don't know if I'll when I get off with you. I don't know if I'll still have a chance or not, but I'll see it later. I'll see it afterwards, and I'm very pumped for that. But there's this guy in LFA I was talked about. They say he's real good, he's real fast, and I saw him fight. Nothing but respect for him. He's a great fighter. He's pretty fast. But they talked to me about Clayton Carpenter. Man, I'm sure I could beat this guy. Like I said, nothing but respect. But this is a fighting game. We just recently contacted the matchmaker at LFA, and we talked about the fight, and he seemed to be interested too. Let's make it happen. I mean, I'm ready whenever they're ready. I mean, tomorrow, today, when you want to fight. I mean, I'm ready. Like I said, the kid, he's a natural. He's a pretty good fighter. He comes from a 4-win streak, so that's great for him. I think it'd be a great challenge for him. It'd be a awesome experience for me just to get to fight after so long. I've been over almost a year and a half inactive. I mean, I fight. I have wars at the gym every day. We consider them almost fights because we spar the shit out of each other, and we fight hard. We fight hard, man. But they don't go on the record. So I have so many fights not on record because they're just sparring and they're with friends and so forth. But yes, man, this Clayton Carpenter, if he wants to fight me, let's make it happen, brother. I mean, I know it's a good fight for everyone. I'm sure the company's going to have a big show. You could get a fight with me. I have so many people after me. They're going to be after you too. They're going to be see you fight. Your name's going to grow. If you beat me, good things for you are coming. I know I'm ready. I'm ready for him. I'm ready for anyone. It's nothing personal. I just was spoken to about him, and I saw him, and yeah, he's good. I'd love to fight this guy. I mean, he's a kid. He's pretty young. He's pretty fast. Let's make it happen, brother. Let's make it happen. Let's put some fireworks in place.
Yes, I mean, and this is what I was talking about. Nate Wren says watching XFN, LFA, and this interview at the same time, right? Good fights, you know. So again, I feel like I'm not doing enough, you know. And,
we gotta capture his attention. So no, keep watching everything else. I know they're exciting, but
yeah. Well, it's funny. I was that way last weekend because they had the UFC, right? And then Josh Barnett's Bloodsport, which I'll be in the same situation tomorrow because Josh Barnett's Bloodsport 5 is on the same time as UFC Fight Night Vegas.
So you gotta be like splitting
yeah,
screens and getting more. Happens to me too.
you'll see it on the social media, like one on the computer and then one on the TV, watching both at the same time. So
I
again,
feel you.
it's a good time to be a fight fan for sure. You know.
Yes, yes. And like
And
here in Puerto Rico, like when I started the game, a lot of people didn't even know what MMA was. Now a lot of people know. The town where I live in Isabela, Isabela, Puerto Rico, mi gente,
yep,
saludo. I live in Isabela, and a lot of people, you just say Jonathan, the one that fights, and everyone knows. It's like it's funny because I most of them I don't even know them. A lot of people come up to me and call me by my name, and I'm like, I already learned in the past. I'd be like, look at them weird. Who are you? Now I'm like, hey, nice to see you, brother. And then I'm like, who was he? Like, um, so I know Puerto Ricans and especially the people from my city. They're giving a lot of support, man.
no, I love it. I mean, literally, it's just as you were saying that. Kendall Fernandez says, "Game on! This will be a great fight. Let's make this happen." Yeah, I mean,
Let's make it
goodness,
happen.
Ed Suarez and the LFA are on Twitter. So again, if you want to raise your voice for the efforts of one Jonathan Sepulveda, again, let's hit him up. We want to see Jonathan Sepulveda and the Borica Pride in the LFA because we've seen it happen. Former LFA flyweight champion Jimmy the Brick Flick,
I've
right?
seen
Won
him.
that
Yep.
LFA title and he went right to the UFC, Contender Series UFC. That is a similar course of action that could happen to you. And when it does happen, Kendall says Puerto Rico is watching.
Yes, yes, yes. Thank you. I know Puerto Rico will be there with us. Actually, my biggest goal, I'm focused just on taking it as big as I can. I'm not really focusing on one company. I just want to make whoever's ready to fight, let's fight. In the flyweight division, and I know I'm gonna start making my name bigger, and I'm just give me a chance at one of these companies and I'm gonna start climbing them rankings like so fast. I'm gonna make my name. I mean, I'm working hard for it, so hard work pays off. I know there's no doubt of that. And with the amount of hard work I'm putting in, and I mean, not just hard as in physically training. I mean, I'm learning a lot. I'm adding a lot to my game. So I know I used to be a pretty complete fighter, but when people get to see me fight again, they should see a completely different fighter, man, a beast. So I'm ready for that, and I'm eager to prove it to people because I've worked for it and I have all that. I won't call it talent, let's call it knowledge. I have all that knowledge there and just ready to let it out. So I want to show the people that what we're capable of.
I love it. And again, I cannot wait. I cannot wait to see that happen. Now, obviously, a large part of your growth, a large part of your success, a large part of your experience comes from, yes, you are living day to day in Puerto Rico, right? And nothing against other Puerto Rican descent fighters and what have you, but you are there in the trenches day in, day out. And one of the major parts of your success thus far is your team, the Caribbean Top Team. So talk to me about their influence on you and their that working relationship.
Man, their influence is great in me. I mean, our head coach right now is Orlando Tiki Sanchez. He's a very experienced fighter. He traveled with us when we went to all these camps we mentioned before, and it was awesome seeing like elite fighters, most of them UFC fighters in other leagues too. It wasn't like him walking up to them and saying, "Oh, look, there's him or there's her." It's like they would call out, "Hey, Orlando," and they'd call, "Oh, you remember when we used to spar the shit out of each other? You remember when?" And hearing these stories, I'm just here, just like watching and listening and seeing that everything is real, that all these experiences did happen, that he has trained for so long with highest highest level people, fighters. I mean, he's passing all that experience on to us, and so I think that's one of the biggest motivations, and it's very inspiring, man, to follow his steps in the high levels. And that's it,
Man,
man. It's very motivating to me. The whole team is like a family, and they're helping us out, and I'm very thankful for it, man.
Big Red, and I love shout out to Caribbean Top Team. I can't wait to see what not just you, but the entire team does, and again, showing you, showing the world why Caribbean Top Team is one of the best teams in the world.
Man, it is one of the best gyms. I mean, I went to so many gyms and saw their way of working, their way of training, their facilities, and the ones where I train at, and there's nothing to envy from them. There's nothing. We're not short, man. We have everything we need. We have a big area. We have rolling space. We have so many heavy bags. We have equipment. We have a cage. We're probably gonna have a boxing ring in there soon. We're continuing to expand. The gym is growing. We're doing so many different things. We're training a lot with the gi. We're running all the bases. You know, where I know we're not. Hopefully, we're not skipping anything important. We're doing everything that needs for the progress of a fighter. And I could see it, man. I could see it like as weeks go on. I mean, I'm literally growing my level up.
I love it. Now, Nate Wren giving, it's not necessarily a spoiler, but he is saying Charles Johnson is wearing a green Power Ranger helmet on his way to the LFA Octagon. I know Sepulveda would easily top that entrance.
Man, I'm ready to fight anyone. I think I heard you say something about entrance. You know what? Maybe I'm getting a lot of the out of the subject a little, but it's pretty impressive. At least the times I fought here in Puerto Rico, I've had a whole bunch of people going into the cage or not into the cage, but in my walkout, with local instruments, just playing like tambore, like just typical music from instead of I've gone into fight twice instead of with a soundtrack or a music or a song, just in live people playing music and singing, chanting out for me, and that's an entrance, brother. I know that's an impressive entrance. I have some videos, and every time I see them, I'm like, wow, these people did this for me. And I know the public gets so riled up. I've even seen in the videos my opponent, they're kind of like dancing to the music. I'm like, what? Even this dude got fired up with the entrance. So it's been some pretty impressive entrances. And when we get in there in LFA, anywhere we go, we're gonna try and put some people in there to play some music. I know obviously now the game's a little different with the public and all that. I'm talking about a couple years back where the public was allowed and all that. But I know we're gonna make a boom. I mean, people are gonna do something impressive. Puerto Rico is awesome. They back up their fighter, and I know they're not gonna deceive me in that part. I'm not gonna deceive them fighting. I'll give my best always, and I know my people, as in entrance and everything, they're gonna impress us all.
Yes, no, and that beats. I'm sorry, for my money, that beats a Power Ranger themed entrance any day, right? So that's, I'm just saying. I'm just saying, right? And he says that yes, that the Charles Johnson is a flyweight bout, and it's the co-main event of the evening, which is going to be highlighted with another flyweight bout, Jimmy Flick's vacant bantamweight flyweight championship. So that's going to
Hmm.
be amazing. So you can check that
I'm
out.
watching for that, brother. I'd love to have that belt around my waist. I know it's a process. I'm willing to work for it. I don't want anything given. All I need is a chance, man. All I need is the opportunity. Make another fight in the in whatever when there's a bout, just put one more fight up. Just throw me in there. You're gonna see what we have to show the world, and I know they're gonna want more. Everyone's gonna want some more.
Damn right. Damn right. Now, obviously, I mean, as a flyweight, cutting weight and all of that, keeping your weight in order is something that is paramount right now. And especially, we just had a UFC weigh-ins this morning where it didn't go so well for some folks, right?
I know, brother. I know that was crazy. A lot of pounds. I mean, I don't know how I wouldn't even dare to get to the place. I mean, if I'm out, I'm like, yo, I'm a completely different division. I would never do that. That's disrespecting your opponent. That's disrespecting the company. I would never miss weight. I mean, in that way, I can't say never something would happen. But I mean, not by a lot, man. I would never do something like that. I'm always close to my weight a few days before the fight, so I shouldn't have problem with that. Um, Never, bro, never. I always, I'm always close to my weight. I'm thin. I'm a small guy. I'm never heavy. I always watch what I eat. Weight wouldn't be a factor for me, brother.
I love that. But what I want to know, because obviously, 9 wins, right? So after a tough weight cut, Puerto Rico has probably some of the world's best cuisine, right? I mean, there's literally 30, 40-minute YouTube videos just on Puerto Rican cuisine, right? So, what I want to know is, what is your favorite meal after a fight?
Bro, I don't know if not saying that pizza would be a lie. I mean, I know that's not a local food. I love pizza, but after a fight, I eat a lot of things together. So pizza's not from here, but man, pork, like pork is one of our typical foods. They serve like pork with arroz con gandule, lechon asado. That's local food. I said it in Spanish. I know whoever's watching from here is gonna understand me perfectly. Um, that's
They
that's
just
mainly
Google
what I
it.
love.
They can Google it. Come on.
Yes, you could
Humble yourself,
translate,
please.
brother. Everyone can translate, but we also have pasteles. That's from here, and I love pasteles. I love all that local food, man.
I love
Mofongo.
it.
I didn't mention mofongo, but that's one of the best. I love mofongo. After a fight, if I don't eat mofongo, I haven't even fought, brother. So I'll stick with mofongo.
And now, obviously, I mean, there have been a lot. I mean, I'll say this, but the amount of engagement that we have, both in the comments as well as the views, and we thank you all for watching us here. But this rivals none other than former UFC champion Josh Barnett when he was on the show. So the numbers are going to probably be similar. You, Jonathan Sepulveda, and Josh Barnett. So that's amazing. And there's been
Awesome.
a lot of people, personally and professionally, that have helped you grow as a person as well as a fighter. So let's get some shout outs out of the way, my man, and take as long as you like.
I'll thank my daughter. She's not watching it, but I want the world and everyone to know that she's my biggest motivation. I've had a lot of people teach me from the beginning. I thank every coach I've had, every training partner I've had. I'm not gonna mention names; there'd be too many, and I know I'd leave a lot of people out. I've had friends who have helped me maybe economically to get ready for a fight. I always make a little banner just to thank them, and obviously their sponsorship gets to be announced too. There'd be a lot if I went to mention them all. I know you're giving me the time, but I don't want to skip anyone, man. So my bosses, the bosses I've had at the places I've worked for them, man, all my bosses have been very considerate, very helpful. I thank them all for that. My bosses, my supervisors, I thank them all. I have my last supervisor is a fan of the sport. We were always talking about it. If he's watching, saludo, Chris. If not, he'll watch it some other time. But I'm thankful for him. I'm thankful for all my bosses. I'm thankful for my wife. I'm thankful for everyone. My wife is she loves the game. She loves the fight. Sometimes she's the one that announces me and tells me, "Hey, do you know such person is fighting this other person?" I'm like, "Really? Yeah, I saw the news a while ago." So she's always on there. She's always diligent. Matter of fact, she was the first one when I saw my first MMA fight or someone fight in MMA that I saw them in person the first time. She looked up and she's like, "You know what? I think you do well in there." I looked at her. I wasn't visualizing myself there yet. I'm like, "You crazy?" But then I started liking it. I did my debut in 2011. The fight lasted only 15 seconds. So then I looked at her and I knew that was what that was what I loved. Though she's very big in this. I thank her for that, for all the support, for my family, my friends. I have a lot of people that support me, and maybe I don't have the time to thank them each individually every time when a fight's come or when they see any announcement. They're always literally always asking, when do you fight? When do you fight? When do you fight? I mean, that I receive that question almost every day. When's your next fight? A lot of people don't know the sport a lot. They just know me and route for me. A lot of people do know the sport very well. There's a lot of good fans here in Puerto Rico. I thank everyone. I thank you. I thank Dane Donovan. I'm appreciate with all the help he's getting me too. There's a lot of people. G Baby, he's my buddy too. Thank you for all the help. My bro Michael, War Bros Forever. I know he'd be willing to do a camp just for me, just like I do for him. So I'm thankful for him too. Like I say, I don't want to skip anyone, man. So I'm trying not to say many names. So I'm just thankful for everyone. I'm thankful for the whole island of Puerto Rico for all the support they're giving me, and they will continue to give me. I know that. So just thank you to everyone from the bottom of my heart.
I love it. I absolutely love it. And I too echo your sentiments. Thank you, literally all of Puerto Rico, for joining us here. A special thanks to one Dane Donovan for hooking this up. Cam, thank you. Talk about a good brother. I'm going to go ahead and too sweet you. You're a bad motherfucker, Dane Donovan. So thank you, good sir. And yes, Michael says yes, bro. Thanks, thank you. Hashtag War Bro.
There
Hashtag
you
War
go,
Bro.
War Bros, man.
Now, for those who haven't already followed the success that is the Puerto Rican sensation, Jonathan Sepulveda, where can they find you, good sir, on social
All
media?
right. On Instagram, JONSSEP, like John Sepp with two S's. On Twitter, Jonathan Sepul John, no, my bad. John Sepulveda MMA. And on Facebook, Jonathan Sepulveda MMA. Facebook.com/Jonathan Sepulveda MMA. If you search for it on the search, you'll just put my name and my first and last name in, and I'll pop up there hopefully. If not, Google it. I know you'll find it. I found it. My record's there in Topology. Anyone who wants to check it, that's where you can find me. So on Instagram, JONSSEP.
Damn right. I followed him. You guys should. And talk about a rising star, a Puerto Rican sensation, Jonathan Sepulveda. He's one to watch in the flyweight division. So again, flyweights around the world, watch out because this guy's coming.
I'm
He's
coming, brothers. I'm coming with much love. I'm coming with very aggressive.
Absolutely. And Kendall, before we go, he says, Michael Uzari, check him out. He's the next great fighter on the list. So, yeah, Mike,
Yes.
I'm going to be contacting you soon. I'm just saying.
Check my brother out. Check my brother out. He's gonna give a lot to talk about too. 155. So anyone who wants to fight him, any promoters who wanna have a good fight in there, check him out.
I absolutely love it. And again, Jonathan, it has been an honor to have you here on the podcast. And thank you guys for joining us here at According to Woods. And if you haven't already done so, go ahead and like, share, and subscribe to the According to Woods podcast on Facebook, YouTube, and Twitch. But definitely Facebook. I mean, not Facebook, but YouTube, because that's how this guy gets paid. So you definitely want to hit that subscribe button.
Let's pay him, people. Let's do it. Let's follow him. I did, so you must do it too.
Damn right. Again, so Jonathan Sepulveda, he's a bad motherfucker, and he subscribed to the podcast, aren't you, Mike? Jonathan. Oh shit, what? I thought Michael Zarni. Sorry, but Jonathan, you're a bad motherfucker. You're subscribed to the podcast, aren't you?
I did.
Damn right. Damn right. Be a bad motherfucker, just like Jonathan Sepulveda. Go ahead and subscribe to the podcast. Right?
Yes, you better.
Exactly. But don't just take my word for it or Jonathan's word for it. Here's pro wrestler Zeta Zhang.
Hey, this is Zeta Zhang. Make sure you